This is Co-op Chronicles, episode 41. Welcome back to Co-op Chronicles. This is episode 41. I am Pint-Sized Geisha, and as always, I have Black Label.
Hello.
And Annalie.
Hello.
And today we have a very special guest from Gamesy Moss, Vic.
Vic, you there? Did I mute myself?
Did you mute us?
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
There you go. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm like, are you guys doing your intro? Should I
Yeah.
not?
No, you're good. You're good now. Yeah. So we got a special guest, Vic from Gamesy Moss. Dude covers so much content. Like I listened to him. He covered popcorn from Disneyland, Universal Studio.
Oh,
yeah. And he brought me into a world of collecting popcorn buckets that I didn't know existed.
That you needed.
Yeah, it was crazy. He also covers tabletop gaming, video games. Man's very knowledgeable, and he's been doing this for a while. So excited to have him.
Happy to be on here, guys. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah.
What's your
Feel honored.
What's your cat's name?
So I have three. So I have three cats. The one that you just saw kind of bumping its head up against mine, that's Riku.
Aww.
No, that's not Riku. That's Nezuko. Sorry, that's Nezuko. And then the other one we have, her sister is Riku, and then the third one we have is Ginny. She's like our anxiety queen. She's like hates people.
Nice.
I love cats.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
Yeah, they're a little. I think one of them's in heat. That's why she's all being all cuddly right now.
She's like, yo, just love me.
Yeah, I'm like, not right now. I don't have time for this. Podcast episode, go away.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about how you keep up with so many of these topics. Please explain. Like, what do you pick topics based on your interest or things that just come up?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's kind of hard because like, I like to. When I started my podcast, I wanted to do like everything, you know, like most people. I'm like, I want to cover everything. I want to do everything. And what I've learned along the way is I started podcasting back in 2019, I want to say. Yeah, 2019. And then COVID hit, and I was like, okay, now I can really podcast. And so, but I was on and off. I had a podcast before. It was called Randomness with Vic. And that podcast was just full of like, just doing like random topics. I would do like a random topic every week. I would talk about gaming one day, and I'd talk about something serious, you know, about like some event that happened or something like that, or like maintaining friends or some random stuff, you know. And that became really hard, and like I kind of lost interest with that. And like if you don't have like I've learned that if you don't have like a niche that you're working on, you're just gonna fall apart really. When it comes to like podcasting. And so after like 2021, I kind of stopped for a while, and then I just kind of focused on just work and, you know,
Life.
being a nerd, you know, gaming and board gaming and just living life like that. And I thought, you know, that itch never went away, you know, like of podcasting. Like I always wanted a podcast. You know, always my personality is I love talking with people, and just chatting with people honestly, and just getting to know them. You know, even if it's not without a mic or in front of a webcam, I just love talking with strangers. I just like talking random with strangers, just getting to know their stories, you know, and it fascinates me.
Yeah, no, like when you were messaging me on Discord, I was like, man, I really like this guy. We're like buddies now. You know what I mean? Like it was pretty cool, you know.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I try to show that passion with podcasting where, I mean, I just really enjoy just hearing you out. Like my mentality is if I'm talking with you, like you're like a celebrity to me, like your celebrity status, you know.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
treat you like nothing else matters but like us right now talking. Like
Yeah.
that's how like my attention is when I come to conversating with friends and family members and anyone. It's just like it's just me and you, and we're engaged in a conversation, and like nothing else really matters. Like all our worries, our things are like out the door right now. It's just you and me now. And if you're talking about your worries and your problems, then okay, let's talk about that. It's cool.
Yeah.
And so when I started when I wanted to start the podcast again, I wanted to talk more about like my passions of like talking with people and just like just hearing their stories out, but like with the main theming of like board gaming and video games.
Yeah.
Because what's something that I could talk about for like hours and days and weeks and years and months, and that's video games and board games. I can talk about all that.
Yeah. Like
forever.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I was gonna ask about. Like what got you started talking about like why'd you want to bring fans to board games? Like what brought you doing that?
Like board. I mean, I've loved board gaming like since since the dawn of time. Since I remember like the earliest board game I played was Mousetrap.
Oh, yeah.
I heard that like Mousetrap was like one of like the old time. In fact, I don't even own Mousetrap. I feel ashamed to say that I don't own that. I should probably own that game. But old school Mousetrap back in the '90s, playing as a kid. I remember. I just had a fascination with board games. I loved the way they work. Like the way the intricacies of how a board game works, how the mechanics of a board game works, and then also kind of goes in line with like communication. I think when playing, I love video games. Don't get me wrong, video games are fun, but when it comes to board gaming, it's like you're sitting down with another person, you're just interacting, making these memories. Conversing over like a pair of dice, rolling some dice, and just talking with each other. I think those are like some memories that I cherish the most that I have, and so that I've always had a passion with board gaming. And then there's a big world of the board game community that I was not aware of until I started getting into it, and I was like, oh, there's people like me out there. That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know, and I just started. I was like, you know what? Let's just. I want to be one of the voices of many that are out there already with some influencers that are talking about board games. And if I can just give my little 2 cents of why you should get this board game or why you shouldn't get this board game, I feel like I would, I feel like I'm content with that, And if I can chat with more people from the community, and I wanted to share that with my podcast of board games, like my main goal of board gaming, the board gaming channel is to like bring to light board games to people that have not heard of board games or that are like limited to like they just know like Monopoly or Clue or Guess Who or some of those games, which nothing wrong with those, but you're kind of basic, if you only know those games.
The whole world. Yeah. I mean, I'm basic. Then.
I'm basic too.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I'm here for you guys, to just show you guys this world, to show you what else is out there. Let's expand your palette, a little bit.
Yeah.
So the purpose of that podcast also as well is I feel like I have like multi-purposes for this podcast. But main one is to share with like people that have not heard of these board games and let them know like, hey, there's this. Check out if you love Monopoly, check out this new alternative that there is. Or if you like Clue, or if you like kind of detective type, there's like these other type of alternatives you can check out that are not that crazy in budget, and you can check them out and have a fun time. And you could be the next talk of the town at board game night, or game night with your friends. So yeah.
Can I ask what your favorite all-time board game is?
Oh, geez. Yeah. That's a loaded question.
I know.
But yeah, I know. That's one of our icebreaker questions we like to ask on our podcast. Favorite board game of all time.
I don't think I even have a favorite board game.
I feel like I know Az's. Clue Conspiracy.
No.
What's yours?
I love Secret Hitler.
I was gonna say Secret Hitler.
Is good. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a good one. Yeah.
That's a good like a social deduction game.
Yeah, I think that's the ones I like. I feel like Vic is gonna have one that I've never heard of, and it's like a board game that you set up, and it's just insane looking.
So this game that is my favorite board game was my like gateway into the world of board gaming, And my all-time favorite, I always come back to it. I always give like a list of like all these games, but then I always come back to this game like no matter what, and it's called Betrayal on House on the Hill by Avalon Games. I don't know if you guys have heard of that game.
Have you heard of this game?
I just listened to your podcast when you were talking about this game. Oh, you mentioned it.
Yeah. So Betrayal House on the Hill. And for those listeners that are like, what is that game? So it's a 3 to I want to say 5 player game. Where it's literally like the theming is horror, kind of like you guys are these investigators that just came into this house, and you have no idea why you're at this house. You know, you have different you all come from different backgrounds. You have different characters you get to choose. Kind of it introduces a little bit of some D&D elements, which I really enjoy because you're doing like strength checks and you're doing perception checks and stuff like that. But like with the like less like complexity of D&D, so it's a great way to introduce players to the D&D aspects of like doing roll checks. But you have different characters. Some are questionable because like I think there's one where like you're like Peter Akamoto and you're like this like 8-year-old kid. I'm like, why is an 8-year-old like this, like roaming around this like haunted house with like a 68-year-old priest? Like that's a little sus.
Oh, that's weird.
And so like I'm like, okay, that's a little weird, but okay, I guess we can go with the vibe. Whatever. And so you get these characters, you can immerse yourself in these characters. But the reason why I love this game so much is that there's literally 50 different ways to play this game. So when you play it once, you'll have a storyline. You play it again, it'll be a completely different storyline with a different traitor. And like, yeah, you'll never like no two gameplays will be the same every time you play it. And I think that's what hooked me so much on that. That was a perfect gateway for me to like, all right, let's see what else we got on board games.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, so it's I to this day I've not played all 50 different scenarios. I don't think I will because I ended up buying an expansion or the video game world, the DLC. I bought a DLC that adds 50 more different scenarios, so now there's 100 different ways to play the game. And yeah, I don't think I've ever played every single scenario.
Man, I feel like you've answered all the questions that I've had written down for the first segment, and I'm like, okay, this man is going in on it. I kind of want to skip down to like our second part. Then I was gonna ask you. So you're talking about niches, like, or you have to find the right niche, like, you know, to, I guess, fit in the podcast world. So what led you to say like, yeah, I'm not limiting myself to one topic. Like you know, you want to go in on everything that's nerdy in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. I guess mostly because just how my brain is, and like I just can't like focus on one thing as much. You know, I can say like I always want to cover something, and like even then, like when I'm like getting ready to like have like a topic for a pod, like you know, like if next week I'm doing the topic on I'm getting with this creator of this board game he created. My next thought is like, okay, but like if he says something in his mind, I said something during our episode like of he mentions like, you know, music, then my mind starts racking like, okay, I'd be cool if I did this other music podcast because I'm also a musician, so I love playing music. I play the guitar and drums, and so now like I want to spread like that love. So I guess what makes me want to like expand more is like I guess my passions. You know, I call myself a big time nerd, and I am a big nerd, and I love you know everything from, you know, video games, board games, to anime. I love watching anime, to anything nerd, but also like other like non-nerd stuff, I guess you could say. Like I love playing music, I love making music, I love watching sports, I love playing sports, so I love everything. And I like with those passions, I just want to have it on the pod. I want to share my passions with others and get involved in the community of all those passions. And so it's like I get angsty because I'm like I love board games so much, but I also want to talk about, you know, like you know, I want to talk about fantasy football, I want to talk about what's going on, I want to, you know, everything. So I'm like I'm all over the place, and like sometimes that could be a downfall on a podcast because then you have everything everywhere all at once, and then everyone's like,
yeah,
what is this podcast even about? Like I don't even understand what's going on. And I'm like, it's about everything. You're like, okay,
everything.
Trust me, I would love to talk about fantasy football and sports, but I'm pretty sure my sister and Geisha doesn't know how to do any of that stuff or talk about any of that stuff.
No. Yeah.
I mean, fantasy football is fun, especially if you're like, I would say like if you're like like if you play video games, I think you'll like gravitate to it a lot because it's like you're getting your own team, you're setting up your team, you're managing your team. You don't have to like watch every single football game, but you're just in charge of your players and making sure like kind of like it's kind of like a bit of like some D&D because I would say because you have your party of your team, and then you're taking care of your team, making sure they're healthy. If they're not healthy, you got to sub them in for another player and stuff like that. So I like the way I see it is like the video game aspect of that and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I think fantasy football is just too confusing to me. I don't know. It's just like it's still hard. Like there's so many stats, and I'm like, ooh, too much. It's too much.
Yeah. No, yeah, right. It can be confusing for sure. I remember when I first started, I'm like, who's who? I don't get it. I don't. What am I doing? What's going on? And then, but I enjoyed it. It got me into like actually watching football instead of just saying that I like football but never watch football. But now I'm invested in football. I got my wife into it. Now she's like more competitive than me when she comes to it, and I'm like I'm like, woman, chill. Like, you've been playing for maybe a year,
She
relax.
said, I'm winning
You
this
know?
fantasy football group.
Yeah. So, do you find a lot of crossover between, like, let's say, board game fans and anime fans? Do you see a lot of people that like each of those kind of go towards it, or do you think like each person wants to handle a topic separately from certain audiences? I'm not sure if that was
But
a good question.
yeah, no, yeah, for sure. What's funny is that a lot of the board game community are just like fans of like everything. Like they're fans of the anime community and they're fans of the video game community. So it's like the board game community very like interlocks everywhere. They're like we're everywhere. We're and everything. So yeah, I feel like with anime fans, there's always something that you can find with board gaming. There's like a lot of anime board games you can play as well. Anime themed board games you can play.
I've never seen an anime
I'm looking at my
board
shelf
game.
of games. I don't think I have any
Didn't know
anime
they existed.
themed games.
What?
I was saying I've never
But
seen an anime board game.
yeah,
before.
like I feel like
Crazy.
it's that type of nerdiness and like emotion can interlock, especially between the board game community. And so I haven't talked to like an anime fan, hardcore anime fan that's like a hardcore board game fan. But if you're out there, hit me up. I'd love to talk to you.
Yeah,
You can introduce him to a world of the anime board game crossover.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And show 'em there is a lot of video game board games, so like a lot of like video game gamers that are like hardcore into like RPGs and like and mostly RPGs. A lot of RPG games. There's a lot of board games out there for instance, like a good one is if you're a big fan of the Witcher series, there's a Witcher board game where you can take. It's a hefty game that I would like not recommend you start playing if it's your first board game. Like dive more deeper into the board game world, but then get to the Witcher game because that game is like phenomenal. Like that game, like you take on a role as a Witcher and you're going out doing contracts. You're pretty much playing the game, but like in a board
okay.
game
In a
setting,
board
which is pretty
game.
cool.
I seen some. I seen some Bloodborne board game too. Actually.
There's a Bloodborne board
there?
game. There's
Yeah,
a
there
Dark
is.
Souls board game.
Yep.
There's a Fallout board game. There's a bunch
what?
of video game board games. There's a
feel like-
Stardew Valley board game, which is pretty crazy.
I know that there was a Stardew
I think
Valley board game.
Did you say you have one or no?
Brian said he has one.
Oh yeah. My friend said he has one. He wants to bring it over to play it. Yeah.
That one's fun.
Stardew
That one's a
Valley?
fun one
Yeah,
to
yeah.
play.
He said he wants to bring the Stardew.
Oh, the Bloodborne board game looks so cool. Why did I not know about it? They're little figures. I just want the figures.
Yeah, the minis are pretty cool.
They are. They're so
The
cute.
minis are pretty cool. And then there's a whole world of minis also that like there's different subcategories of board gaming. And there's like the miniature board game where like you have like Warhammer, you have your Conquest, you have your all these different type of miniature worlds that you get into that are pretty crazy. There's like a Halo one now. There's called Flashpoint, which is pretty cool that I've been wanting to get into.
What?
But that's like a very slippery slope of taking all your money because then you're just gonna want all these armies to buy and then you want to paint them and then you want to battle them out and it's pretty cool. And I'm like,
That's just how
I got my-
Warhammer is,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Look at how cool these little figures are.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know this. That's so cute.
Are you,
Yep.
hey Vic, are you a big supporter of like Kickstarter? Because I know when some of the episodes I've listened to, you have a lot of people who have made their own games. So like, are you part of that kind of world?
oh yeah, I'm a very big supportive of that. Like even in general, like I just like to support anyone that's want to like adventure into like the things of that. Like with you, Black Label, we were talking offline. Like I'm a very big supporter of people in the podcast community, people that are starting off. Like I'll be your hype man, like 100%. If you need me to be your hype man, I'll be your hype man because I just like I know the struggle and how it is hard and maintaining with life and balance stuff again. Because I'm in there with you, so like it's easier if you have like that support group with people that are like, if you have someone that's behind you rooting for you, then it gives you that confidence to just keep going and get rid of that that self doubt and stuff. And with the board game community, you have guys and gals that are wanting to create these board games and like they're like hey, I created this board game. You want to check it out, and then you always have that fear of like, oh, they hate this board game, or like, no, I don't want to buy it, So for me, I love all board games. I love anything. You throw any board game my way, I will play it 100%. I'll replay it 100% with you guys if you enjoy it. And so with these new creators that are creating these board games, I'm like, yo, let me see what this game is about. All right, let's support you. What you got? You got a Kickstarter? I 100% back you up. And to anyone that's like wanting to create a board game, go for it, and let me play test it because I want to play test more board games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do support a lot of Kickstarter. Kickstarter is a big Kickstarter, and Game Founder are one of the big ones that are. You have all these board gamers that are trying to just get the game out, trying to meet their pledges, and fulfill their dream of having a board game out. So
What was
yeah,
that?
I've been able to help out a lot of those guys out there. Shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome.
What was that website that you spoke about? I know I heard you mention it on one of your episodes. You were talking about how there's a website you could play board games on.
Oh yeah, so there's two that I primarily play on. The first one is called Tabletop Simulator, and that's on Steam. I think it's free. You can do that. That one I like more because you have a bit more of like freedom to do a lot of free movements. Like you're not limited to just like what the program is. You're able to pick things up, throw things around, flip the table if you want. You can do whatever. And a lot of the community on there create mods of board games that are scripted, so you can just download their mods and you can play pretty much any board game. I use that a lot to base of if I'm gonna end up buying this board game or not. So I use that one. So that's the first one. The second one I use is called Board Game Arena. That one's online. That one's free, but you're limited to certain games. If you pay for it, I forgot how much it is. You're able to it's kind of like a program. It's like a digital. Imagine all your board games that you have. They're now digital versions of them on the computer, so you can literally play. Everything's all scripted. The GUI is pretty nice. You can also play live or turn-based, which is pretty awesome. So if you play live, you can play right there and then, right now, as you're playing. Or if you're hey, I don't have time, but I want to play, you can set up some parameters, and you'd be okay, I'll take my turn, and then whenever it gets to you, you can take your time and you do your turn. So I could take my turn in the next 2 days and
that's pretty cool.
do my turn, and then come back to, and I'll keep going around, and you'll get emails. You can set up emails or text, I think, to let you know, hey, it's your turn to play.
It's your turn.
And so you can do a lot of that. I mean, I'm ashamed that I get busy sometimes, so I've had I had a game playing with a couple of the guys from another podcast, Operation Game Night. And we played this game called Lost Ruins of Arnak, and I think we spent 4 months playing that game, and I feel ashamed because they were all waiting on me, and I was I'm sorry, dude, I keep forgetting about it. I'm sorry. And one of the guys was like, this is the longest game of Arnak in my whole entire career. I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. I literally just would forget about it, and I had come back, and they're like, hey, we're waiting on a turn. It's been 3 weeks, and I was like, oh, sorry. Sorry. So yeah, we spent and that game literally takes an hour to play if you're playing it live. So
oh my god, so it's gonna take you a couple weeks.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, tabletop simulator on Steam, and a Board Game Arena
Gotcha.
online. You can just type in Board Game Arena and create an account for free. And what's cool about that one too is if you wanna if you know someone that has it that's paid for it, they can just invite you to their lobbies, and you can play all their games. So you don't have to pay for it. You just create your free account and then just join your buddies that have it paid for, and they'll just invite you to games that you want to play.
Oh, that's
and they're always
awesome.
they're always constantly adding to the library.
Well, rock, paper, scissors, which one of the three of us will buy it?
Yeah, that's awesome. So I want to go into a segment, or segment 3-1. I wanted to talk about your journey and your future plans before we get into other random questions. Sure. So Gamesy Moss, you said, has been going, or from what I've seen, it's been going since 2023. But you mentioned to me earlier when we were talking that you've been doing it for 6 years, on and off. What was the spark that made you say, I'm gonna make my own show? Was there any challenges before you did that?
Yeah, for sure. The challenge was work. Working. I mean, I used to work for SpaceX, and that was I had no life pretty much working there.
Oh, nice.
I would just building rockets every day, and I would work in the mornings. I work 12-hour days. I get home. The last thing I want to do is just make a podcast. I just I just want to go home and sleep so I can just do this all over again tomorrow.
Build a rocket launcher?
But oddly enough, it was at SpaceX, and one of my old boss, we were talking here, and he's also in the creative arts. I think he likes to do a lot of acting work and stuff like that, and it's pretty cool. He kind of gave me that spark. It was I told him I used to have a podcast. I did this, and he's like, "Why'd you stop?" And I told him, "Oh, because of life stuff, and that's kind of hard." And he was like, "Just go for it again, man. Just do it again." And he kind of pushed me a lot, and I was like, "Okay." And so he gave me that push to do the podcast again. I told him, I was like, I don't even know what I want to do. He's like, bro, talk about board games. You're always talking about board games with me and video games. Just do that. I'm like, okay, all right, say less.
And
I
the
was
rest
like,
is
I do
history.
like video games. I do like board games. I guess I could talk about something about that. He's like, yeah, man, I'll support you. And to this day, he's been supporting me and always commenting on stuff. And he's always wanting me to like give away things. He's like, hey, I'm gonna donate this to you can do a giveaway. I'm like, all right, bro. Okay. I'm like, you sure this thing's worth a lot of money? He's like, yeah, just give it away. I'm like, okay.
What a good guy.
Definitely.
Sure thing. I think he helped. He gave me in my 2 previous episodes when they did a Pokemon episode. He gave me a 9.5 graded Pikachu Van Gogh that's going for like $700.
Jesus.
What?
Yeah, it's like $600 and $700. Last time I checked on eBay. But it's like literally mint condition. Like I think I have it.
Oh snap!
Oh yeah, I do have it. It's like $600, but I have it like in a cupboard, like just tucked away. So it's like this little like.
Look at him.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's like not even open. It hasn't even been open or anything like that. It's 9.5, so it's like to get a 9.5 is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And he's like, give it away, bro. I'm like, are you sure?
I
Like,
was
this is
just-
money. He's like,
I'll-
no, bro, I have
this is
6 of them.
mine.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll hold on to it.
I'll hold on to it for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll take care of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll make sure. I'll give it away.
I'm curious to know, did you face any like tech struggles or audience building hurdles? We know from experience, tech issues happen all the time. And then I'm also curious to know, what would be your advice to anybody who is wanting to start their own podcast? What is the best advice you'd give to them about
Yeah, for sure.
all of like tech and audience building?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm still having tech difficulties as we still do podcast episodes. Yeah, I've run into I've run to like camera settings where I use some cameras where they've been out of focus the whole time and I can't even check, or the battery died, or I think our first couple episodes we did, I didn't know that one of my cameras only records like on 30-minute like segments. And so it would do for like 30 minutes, and then it would shut off, and I didn't even know. And I would just keep like blabbing, like, yeah. and then my wife would be like, "Hey, the camera turned off." I'm like, oh, "Really?" I'm like, "Oh, great." And so I'm like, "All right, well, I guess this is a 30-minute episode then, I guess." And so, yeah, I've had a lot of difficulties, but I've done some research. I've looked into some cameras. If anyone's that's like interested in starting a podcast, I mean, first things first, just do it. If you're interested in podcasting, just go ahead and do it. Don't feel like, oh, I can't because so and so is already doing this, or they're like just go ahead and do it. I've had self doubts. When I first started doing the board game video game, I was like, there's a bunch of channels that are like do so many video game like podcasting and so many like board game podcasts. Like I'm just this dude that like they've never even heard of. Like why are they gonna listen to me? But it's like I'm not doing it for to get the famous or to get like big sponsorship monies. But I mean, if anyone wants to sponsor me, hey, I'm open. But I'm not doing it just solely for that, the purpose to like get the views. I'm just doing it to just share my passions with anyone that's willing to listen and just to talk. I mean, I just want to get people on this podcast to just chat with them. I want to talk to them. I want to get to know them. And so if you're thinking about starting a podcast of something that you're passionate about, first of all, have something that you're passionate about that you want to share. I would say that. Don't start one off and be like, oh, we'll just figure it out as we go. Like it's just gonna crumble. You're gonna fall. Secondly, be consistent about it. I mean, obviously, when you first start posting, and don't get like let down that you only have like three listens or 3 views. The views will come. Just keep posting. Don't expect your first episode be this extremely viral hit that like everyone's like talking about. That rarely happens. And so keep at it. And then when it comes to like the technical aspects, like you don't have to get like a $700 mic, or get one of the Shure's SM7Bs that everyone likes getting. That's like a $400 bike. I just did it with like I mean I have a Blue Snowball that I got for like $50. I got a couple of the mics that I bought for like $50. They're pretty cheap. Even then, like even if you can't afford that, if you have a phone like a smartphone, you can just do it straight from your smartphone. Just set up there and use the audio from there, and just get the content out. The main thing is just get your content out. Get your content out, and just start exposing yourself in front of everyone with your content, and just keep at it. And then as you save up for money, then you can get a camera if you'd like, or if you want to get. I would invest in more of a better mic than a camera because I say like 90% of the people that are listening to your podcast are just listening to your podcast. They're not like actively like watching your podcast.
For sure.
And so like the video aspect is not as important. I mean, if you really want to have a video, go ahead, have the video. I like to have a video because I like to do a lot of like B-roll shots when I'm doing our podcast episodes, so you can see a lot. And I also like vlogging, so I like to vlog too. But if you're using a podcast, if you're just starting off podcast, just do voice. Make sure you get a good mic, at least a decent mic, so it sounds good. And then just save up and just keep rolling with it, and then you'll just find the joy of it. I say give it. I always like to say give it like a month of just recording and putting out content. And if you don't like it, then you can just stop and keep going. But if you find joy with it, then just keep going at it and do some more research and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just keep doing it. Don't second guess yourself and just see what happens. You know, you might be the next Joe Rogan. Who knows? You know, but but we won't know unless you start getting out there, start getting your name out there, at least for sure. I don't know if that answered your question.
Oh no, that was good.
That was a great
It definitely
answer.
did.
Try not to ramble too much.
Oh, you're good.
I just realized I asked you about board games, but we talk about video games on this podcast as well. So like, what is a game, like a video game, that you would highly recommend to people?
Oh, geez. Are we narrowing it down to any category of game, or are we going like FPSs, RPGs? Are we doing?
Any game that you want.
Jeez. Well, I would recommend my favorite game, but this game is just so convoluted in storyline. I'm just like, dude, like to the point where I don't want to recommend it, but I'll just throw it out there. My favorite game is the Kingdom Hearts series. I love Kingdom Hearts. It's one of my favorite all-time series. I love playing it. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. If I'm recommending it, play Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Just play those two.
Yeah.
Don't play Chain of Memories. Don't play 365. Don't even play 3 because 3 was garbage. Don't play 2.8 or Birth by Sleep. All these extras, don't play those. That just messes up the story. 1 and 2, I love it. If you're a big fan of like Final Fantasy, and if you're a fan of Disney, they match it together, and I think it was pretty awesome because it was cool because I was like fighting Cloud and in the Hercules arena, and I was like, all right, cool. And then I fought Cerberus afterwards, and then I beat up Hades. And I'm like, okay, what is happening? But this is awesome. This is cool. And I had like Donald and Mickey coming out, helping me out. Except Donald sucked all the time because he kept dying on me.
I know that's so
just
wild. Yeah, it's wild.
I recommend for sure. Kingdom Hearts is a great game to play.
That soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, the soundtrack! Oh my! The reason I
one.
learned piano was because I wanted to learn the Kingdom Hearts theme song.
Yeah.
Utada Hikaru.
And now I have a piano that's collecting dust because I sadly, shamefully.
Yeah. I definitely agree though. Only play 1 and 2. The story just gets so complicated after 1 and 2. Yeah, I definitely agree.
I mean, even I would say cautious with 2 as well, because then it gets a little bit confusing with like nobody, like who's like Roxas was the nobody of Sora and Amine. And, you're like, wait, who's who? What's going on? Who's Ansem? But you're not Ansem. But you're also Xehanort, but you're not Xehanort because you were the shadow. And I was like, okay, wait, what's happening? Like, what am I doing? I only liked it because you can dual wield Keyblades. I was like, this is cool. I have two Keyblades. This is the greatest thing ever. But definitely play 1 for sure. Play 1 because it just keeps it simple. You know, there's many worlds and what's going on. If you haven't played it, I'm not going to spoil it. But go check it out. I mean, that game came out in like 2002, I think, or 2003.
I made the mistake of rambling on about something. I think I was talking about Cyberpunk one episode, and some people were messaging me saying, "Hey, man, I never beat that game. You should spoil alert." And I was like, "Oh, my bad." And I was like, "It's been out for like." Everybody, it was COVID time, so like I was like, everybody should have played this game already. Like,
I will admit though, I did have to stop that episode because I have not yet beaten Cyberpunk yet. Either. I literally got to the point where you have that final mission where you have to meet Hanako at Embers, the Nocturne, whatever.
Yeah.
I literally stopped. I stopped right. We're at the door where you like you have to like enter the door, and it'll be like, oh, this is the final mission. If you want to finish everything else.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And I was like, I still have side missions, so let me just exit out real quick and go out, and then. I stopped playing ever since then. I haven't been spoiled, so I don't even know any of the endings at all.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but I mean, that's one of the endings.
It's great.
It's good.
It's such a good game. I got emotional on one of the endings, and I was like, it's really good because I never got that ending that I got when I just played it a month ago. And it was really good. I don't know why it hit me too when I beat it. I was talking to them, and I was like, man, that game was that ending really got to me, and I was like, man, I really wish there was another one coming out.
That's how I think.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game for sure.
Yeah, I think that's like the goal, right, of every game, of every movie, of everything that's entertainment wise is to like hit you in your feels. And if they do, then they
Yeah,
have
like-
successfully
Yeah,
did
like-
it correctly.
Like this is the game.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's a game that like literally immerses you like into this world. Like every time I play it, I'm like, I am V. I am the best nerd of Night City.
Yeah.
And like just the cutscenes and like the way like just interacting with people, the city. It just feels like. I mean, I could rave about Cyberpunk for sure. I haven't even beaten it yet, and I'm still like, I'm just in love with the game so much.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And then Phantom Liberty, like, I mean, Phantom
Oh
Liberty is
my
like one of like
God.
the coolest like intros I've ever like played in a while.
Have you done
The
that?
way like it introduces like the like when you're like I don't know if you guys have played Phantom
Oh,
Liberty.
I beat that. Yeah, it was great.
But like when you get into the stadium and then you see the plane crash and then
Oh my
like the
God.
Phantom Liberty things pops up, I was like, whoa, what an intro!
And
This is
it's
an
just-
amazing.
And you're like
intro.
playing, you're like immersed into it right away. You're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, who are these people? Like,
Yeah,
I
was like, what is happening? Like, what is going on? You know, who's Songbird? What is happening? Like, why can't she see, you know, Johnny Silverhand? What is happening? Like, yeah,
I wish all
it was a
DLCs
game.
Like,
It
were
was a
like
game.
that.
Yeah, for sure, definitely a game that I feel like I'm gonna get in the fields when the game ends for sure. I kind of don't want it to end, but I know I have to beat it. I have to beat it
Yeah.
at some point.
Who asked the question last? My bad. I got confused with. Not
I
confused.
asked him what
His favorite game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
Kingdom Hearts.
Gotcha.
Kingdom
So I was gonna ask, like, if you could do a cross media, like a crossover video game with like a board game or a tabletop game or even anime, which two would you want to cross mix with? I'm not sure if that makes sense, but
Oh no, for sure.
yeah, like which ones would you combine to make a game?
I was gonna say Kingdom Hearts, but they already have a Kingdom Hearts board game. They already have two of them. It's kind of hard to say because all the games that I want they already have a board game for it for sure.
Yeah.
I think. Oh man, that's a tough one because
I know
I
I recently looked
What?
at I don't know if you watched Arcane.
the League of Legends.
Yeah, I would
Hmm.
I would love to see a League of Legends like board game. I'm
So
not
there is
Oh
a
my
board
God!
game.
Of course
that-
there is.
But it's not League of Legends esque. It is a MOBA esque game though
Oh,
for sure.
okay.
Board game where like you have your lanes, you have your heroes, and you have to push forward and stuff like that, and you guys have to work cooperatively. So there's those type of board games. But video game wise, oh man, again I probably was gonna go with like a Harry Potter board
yeah.
game, but there's already like a tons of them.
Oh my
But there's
God.
one called Hogwarts Battle, which is a fun one where you go through all the books. It's pretty cool. Again, oh geez.
You're like an encyclopedia of board games. Like
Yeah.
my brain is like I'm trying to. Yeah, it's a lot. Oh my God! I didn't even know that they had that stuff.
There's a whole world, my man. There's a whole world of
Jesus.
board gaming that like it took years. Like I said, I started diving deep into board games back in like 2013. 2012, 2013 is when like my friends were like, "Oh, you play board games?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like to play, Settlers of Catan. I'm so cool." And I was like, "Nah, bro, come over. We're gonna show you something." And then I was like, mind blown. I was like, "Whoa, what is it?" He's like, "Yes,
Yes.
this is your life now." And I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, well."
Let's educate you.
Thanks a lot to you. Yeah, thanks a lot to those friends because you introduced me to a game, but you also like made me spend like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on all these board games. And now my wife's just looking at our shelf, thinking like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Just cause you,
No,
you just
yeah.
have to.
Just
You
accept
you just
it.
need to."
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer that, it's kind of hard to say because again, I can come up with like a video game, but there's already like a board game for it for sure. Like
Yeah,
it's already
no.
created.
Yeah.
Like Fallout, there's already a Fallout board game, which is pretty wild how they do that. And I love Fallout. And yeah, I mean, the From Software games, the Dark Souls. I think they're even coming out with an Elden Ring one also as well. Elden Ring board game too. So I'm like, oh geez, like
Yeah, I don't
All right,
want those
well.
for the minis.
Yeah, I only want the minis for the Bloodborne.
the minis are cool. The minis are really awesome. If you're into like minis, there's or like really cool minis. I just got one called Lords of Ragnarok. Man, that game's insane. That game is wild. Or another one called Nemesis as well. Both same publishers. It's from Awakened Realms Publishing, but they're known for like their minis. Like going crazy for me to the point where I'm like, this game should not have this many like detailed minis at all. Like this is way too much. Like you guys are being extra with these board games. Like relax. Like okay, I don't want to be paying like $130 for these board games.
Yeah, it's just for
all
the
time.
minis. Yeah, it's just the minis.
It's
Are
just the minis.
$100. Yeah.
The minis are what soak up a lot, but they're fun. They're fun. Lords of Ragnarok was such a fun game. Nemesis is really a fun one if you're into like sci-fi, like aliens. It's literally like you're pretty much playing the movie Alien, pretty much. Where you're one of the survivors on the ship. You wake up from cryo sleep and something's going on. You find one of your crew members are dead, and you realize that you're not alone on the ship, and you got to try to survive the ship and not awaken they're called intruders because they can't say the word alien because of trademarking. You're versing aliens and it's get pretty crazy. But it's a little sorry tangent. I went off on that.
No, you're good.
Oh, no,
You're
it's
good.
Kind of
fine.
hard to say.
You are
For
fine.
video game, board game, for sure.
No, it's good.
I like that. Is there any like upcoming board games that you would recommend us or even like the listeners to look into? Because it might be like a banger of a board game.
And I would say before you answer this, do like a beginner to intermediate, because I'm pretty sure you know the difference between all of those.
No, for sure. I was about to be like, geez, all right, well, it looks like we're doing a 3-day podcast. Okay, so if we're looking at intermediate to beginner board games, it all comes down to like also like taste of like what kind of like games you're into a lot. Like there's games like there's the minis. If you like minis, there's like a bunch of introductory mini games. If you like more of like dice rolling and playing with cards, there's all these other games. But I'll throw out some examples from throw out some suggestions with all of those. First one I would recommend for sure is I gotta go with my favorite one again, Betrayal House on the Hill. If you've never played it before, it's a fun game, especially if you're interested in or like involved in like the whole D&D world and like interested in like how it works. This introduces a lot of it. It's from Wizards of the Coast, so I can tell you that. And also they did create another game called Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. It's literally D&D, but like now Betrayal. So like you take on a role of a paladin and you're going through the city of Baldur's Gate and you're figuring out what's going on. Again, 50 different ways to play that game as well, and I have that one as well. They also have Betrayal at Haunted House with Scooby-Doo, so there's a Scooby-Doo version if you want to play with like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I'm a mystery. I'm a mystery guy, so I like the mystery stuff.
So you'll like this one. This one's the Betrayal series are very fun. Because again, you're trying to figure out what's happening. You go into the game not knowing anything. You don't even know what the board looks like because you're building the board as you're playing. Because you don't know what the house looks like. So you start off with the main entrance of the foyer, and you move your characters around, and you're discovering rooms. And as you discover rooms, you'll figure out either what's happening. Either three things will happen in a room. You either find an item, which can range from like a shotgun to like you found like a medallion or something, or an omen, which is like an omen card that will happen where it says, "Oh, you found this. Now you have to roll for this." And that's what causes the haunts. And what the haunts are is what is going to dictate what the storyline is for your play session. And then the third one is I said items. Oh, events. They're called events, where it's like small little events that'll trigger in that room. So the way the haunt works, to give you a concept, is when you get an omen card, you'll get an omen card that says you found like a medallion, a gold medallion, right? You found, and it'll tell you what, and then you'll see what room you found. You found it in, the master bedroom. So now you have to do what's called the haunt roll. So you're gonna take these dice and you're gonna roll the dice, and based on the result of the dice is it has to equal be equal to or greater than the number of omens that have been revealed. So let's say there was 4 omens that have been revealed and you rolled a 5. You're fine. You keep playing the game. But let's say you rolled less than that. That's when the haunt is triggered. And what that happens is you're gonna look at what omen card you revealed, what room it was in, and there's like this little like chart that you're gonna look at down, and it's gonna say, okay, we're doing haunt number 45. You turn to the page where it says, and now that's your story based on what items it was, and so it'll tell you what the storyline is. It'll tell you who the traitor is, because no one knows who the traitor is until the haunt gets revealed, and then when that happens, now the game really happens. Where now it's like, all right, whoever the traitor is, they get their own set of rules. Go to another room. Read the rules because you can't hear what the survivors are trying to do. And now your job is to stop the traitor, and the traitors, their job is to either stop you guys or fulfill their mission or whatever they're trying to do. Great game to get immersive, especially if you're into like the mystery and stuff like that. Betrayal, I can't rave enough about that game. I love that game. If anyone ever, it's like, hey, we should try it out. I'm like, yes, I'm there. Let's play it right now. Let's go. Let's play. I don't even like playing it. I just like watching people play it to see their reactions. I love doing that. So that's a fun one. If you're into like, not beat 'em ups, but like hordes, like zombie horde, or like killing like a bunch of like just crazy action. There's a game called Zombicide by Simon Games. This is another great introductory board game that introduces you to the world of like just. First of all, Simon is like insane because they have like, I don't know how they're getting the licensing to like all these like IPs, because they have like a Zombicide, they have a D&D Zombicide, they have a Marvel Zombicide, they have a DC Zombicide, they have a Western Zombie. I'm like, how are you guys affording all of this? This is impossible. What is happening? But Zombicide is a fun one where you're survivors and you're fighting off zombie hordes trying to accomplish missions. But the problem is there's a lot of zombies and they keep spawning every single time, so you're going to get overrun. So you have to finish your missions quickly, use strategy, work with each other to figure it out. All right, you go over here, look for this, I'm going to go over here and like lure the horde away. But we have to hurry up because the more zombies you kill, the more you level up your character. The more you level up your character, the more zombies even come based on whoever the highest level is. So what you do is when it's time to spawn zombies, you'll draw a card and you'll see what level zombies. It'll have different types of levels. It'll be like a red level, orange level, green level, yellow level, and it'll depend on like, all right, who's level yellow. And if it says level yellow, you'll end up like spawning 4 zombies. Okay, cool. But if someone was like level red, you'll end up spawning like 4 runners, a fatty, and like cool. 6 walkers. And you're like, okay, crap, this sucks. So you have to kind of like balance like killing zombies, but also not to level up so much, because then yes, you become like powerful, but then more zombies pop up, and then you screw yourself and you end up losing the game.
Jeez,
that's so complicated.
Yeah, how do you remember at the same time? Yeah, how do you remember this stuff? I'm like the worst. Like when Azali over here tries to explain a simple game, I'm like, what? What was the first rule again? Like,
what do I do again? Yeah. No, I don't know, dude. To be honest, like I have over 178 games. Jeez. And I remember every single one of those, how to play, and I remember every single moment I've played those games.
Oh my god!
So it's just all the memories of it. I just had, like, I could tell you, like,
I mean, you work I'm
looking at Villainous. I remember playing those games with my wife. I love those games. The Harry Potter Hogwarts battle. I remember playing that with a couple friends, and how it was hard, how we kept trying to figure out how to beat freaking Voldemort, and it was, being hard. So like I have a bunch of games that are like I just remember memories. I guess just the memories I remember, and then from there I just remember all the rules, because I don't know, I just have a passion for it. Just the way I just have I just have a weird memory like that. Like I remember every single video game I played, and like the whole storyline of every single video game that I played.
Yeah, you're just like one of those people. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It just sticks with me,
Yeah, that's good.
But ask me to do like some math problem, I won't know, because I don't know. I don't remember how to math, so I don't know. So
I don't think nobody knows how to math.
But yeah, those are two examples. I don't know if you want me to give you more. I have more, but those are like the two. I think those are the 2 best gateway games to get into.
I do want to add one. So we're having a friends game night coming up, and we're planning on playing some board games.
Yeah, but my problem is, like, we need a board game that has gonna allow for a lot of players.
Yeah, and that's kind of fun, because I'm pretty sure these people don't play board games. So
yeah, what would you recommend?
So you need like a kind of like a party game-ish kind of immersive. So there is a board game that I really enjoy called Cash and Guns.
Okay.
It's a fun one because it's really cool because you get these little foam guns you get to point at people.
Okay.
Which is really funny. So the premise of the game is you guys just got done scoring this big bank job. You robbed all this loot, but now all you guys are greedy because you want to take the most loot and you want to get the most loot. So the way each round is, you get these little foam guns, and you have to, like, each round you have a choice. You have to aim your gun at someone, and you play a card that's either a blank shot, which means like you're bluffing, or it's an actual bullet that you're actually gonna shoot someone. And the goal is to get the most loot out of everyone, and it's a fun one. It's a fun one game because, like, people get mad at you, like, why are you pointing at me? Stop pointing at me! No. You start yelling and arguing with each other.
Oh yeah. Me and
Cash and Guns
a lot.
I watched Polygon's series Overboard, and they played that using bananas.
Oh, nice. That one's a fun. Yeah. Cash and Guns is a fun one to play. How many players would you know, like off the top of your head, like would show up?
If we do have friends and they show up. We have how many?
How many?
Like
Like,
8?
8 people.
well,
Okay.
there's me,
Oh, my
you,
sisters.
8 to 10.
8 to 10.
8
yeah.
to 10ish. Yeah.
So Cash and Guns is a fun one. I think that supports up to 8 players. I want to say.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
8.
sure.
I'm looking at it now.
I might be wrong. Let me just take a peek real quick.
Do you have it over there?
I have it pulled up.
No, I mean
I do
him.
have it.
Oh, like if he has it, yeah.
He took a peek, so I was like, he must have it.
I do have it, but it's in my other room because again, I have too many board games. But if we're looking at, I do have a couple. Menace Among Us is a fun one too. That one's more like it's kind of like plays a little bit like Secret Hitler a little bit.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where but it's like space themed and you have to do missions.
Oh, that's
but one of you
awesome.
guys is like the alien and like trying to like disrupt missions.
Oh, like Among Us, basically. Yeah, okay.
Like yeah, literally like Among Us. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like they said Menace Among Us so they don't get like sued.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
Among Us, pretty much. That's pretty much Among Us. Geez, what else is a fun one? I will do a shout out to. Oh no, that's never mind. That's like a 4. That's like a 4-player game. That's not an 8-player game. You won't be able to play that one as well.
I mean, shout it out. Let us know.
But a game. So one of my boys that created a game. I met him at Strategic Con. Shout out to you, Rick, and at Blue Rondo Games. You're awesome, bro. You created some fun game called Crabs in a Bucket. It's actually I have it right here. Right here. It's called Crabs in a Bucket. I had him
Oh,
sign
I got
it
it
and stuff like
signed and
that.
everything.
Oh, nice.
It's fun. He actually hold on. He has his expansion called Shrimp Apocalypse.
Shrimp Apocalypse. I love it.
It's everything seafood.
It plays from 2 to 6 players. So I mean, you can have like 2 people watch if you want. You know, if they don't, or
Yeah,
not everyone shows up.
They're not cool.
Yeah. But it pretty much plays just like Uno. It literally just plays just like Uno. You have your cards. You have like your little like numbered cards. You have to pretty much get rid of your cards. But what the cool thing is you have like these like they're called Joker cards, but which they're if I can pull them up, but they're like they're like crabs that mess up other players. So they're kind of like the reversal, the draw 4 cards, but like now they mess up like they just add some crazy chaos to it. So like he has like this like samurai crab card here that
that's
like you can
cool.
play like
That
it like
art
messes
is-
up like a lot of the gameplay. It'll have like you like draw a card or everyone has to give their hand to the next player or something like that. There's like a sleepy crab you can get.
Oh,
Sleepy
yeah.
crab.
So he has like a lot of different methods. But I'm shouting you out, Rick. Man, you're awesome. You came up with a fun game. You demoed it with me when I went to Strategicon, which is a board game convention over here in LA.
Do we have any of those over here in Seattle?
We have Dragon Con and Orca Con. They're
Oh.
board games.
Oh, they're board games?
conventions.
We should go to one.
Yeah, we should, so I can get my knowledge up.
Yeah.
There you go. It's fun. And you guys, I think you guys are in Washington. You said
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
We go to a lot of Comic Cons and like PAX and stuff like that.
PAX is also a good one too. I've been wanting to go to PAX for such a long time.
Yeah.
Oh.
But so that's Strategicon. We've gone. I've gone and I've met up with Rick, and he showed me that game, and I was like, dude, I love this game. Let me buy it right now. And, he was like, okay. And so he gave me a great deal. He gave me like this like special edition stuff, and I was like, all right, I'll buy it, but on only one condition: you have to sign it, bro. Because like
Yeah, sign
this is like, bro.
everything. So.
I do that with a lot of the game people that come up with like their board games, and like they're able to like market it and like get fully fledged. I asked them like, hey, bro, I'll pledge you, but I just want a signed copy for myself. Like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
sure, bro.
I know there's a lot of things I see on Kickstarter that I wanna invest in, but some of them are kind of a little too pricey. But I'm like, man, I really want to get that. There was one for D&D. It was I mean, I think they make them anyways, but it's like it's not dice, but it's something you spin in your hand and it lands on a dice. I can't.
Oh, the little magnet thing, the little like spinner thing.
Yeah. I can't remember
And I
who
could-
did that.
Let me see here.
Oh, do you have one?
I don't have it, but my friend literally just my friend just literally sent me that online, and I'm like, bro, I need this. For
Yeah, because I was
whenever
like
play.
looking at him, and our coworker, my coworker, he's our DM for D&D, and he always sends us sends me and my other friend Kickstarter stuff, and he's like, look at this, I invested in this, and I'm like, man, how many have you put in? He's like, a lot. Yeah.
Well, they
I don't know
have,
if
they have low
Does it look like this? Does it kind of look like this?
Yeah, something similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he sent me that. And I was like, dude, I need this.
Yeah, those are
But
so
the
sick.
D&D.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, I guess those most of my party games are like games that I don't. If I had to choose like board games to like not like be proud to show, I guess you'd say, or like some games where I'm like, yeah, I have them, but like I'm not like big on them, are party games. And I have those. I have a lot of them, but they're like in my like back room in the closet, like hidden,
Where
so, like,
nobody
no one
can
sees
see
them. 'Cause
them.
I'm like, they're cool, but like if people see it, they're like, oh, let's play Family Feud or let's play this, and I'm just like, yeah, but like I have all these other games.
I have
Like,
these
nah,
cool
no,
ones.
those look crazy. I want to play like I want to play Uno. I want to play Tetris. What's it called? Tetris Jenga. Or I was like, okay, well.
You have all this S tier list right here.
Yeah, this is this S tier, and you want the F tier over there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm like, I'm giving you gold, and you guys just want like copper. Like, come on, guys. Let's go, guys. Come on, like, let's level up our gaming here. So yeah, I have it in the back. So I mean, I don't mind a party game for sure. I love playing party games, but I'm more of like I love playing strategic. I like getting my mind rolling and thinking of my next move and figuring out what to do and immersions. I like a lot of immersion games. That's why that's why I like Cyberpunk so much because like it just immerses you into this world and like
100%.
like these other video games that I play, like it just immersion is like my biggest thing that I love. So that's why I love Betrayal. It immerses you into this world of you're this character, you're trying to figure out what's going on. A little role playing if you want to do some role playing, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I seen you.
Yeah,
I seen you pick up
party games. You're just like let's just throw rocks at each other or something.
I seen you picked up Elden Ring again. You started playing that again. I kind of want to get into gaming because we talk about a lot of games, but I seen you started playing Elden Ring a lot too. How you feeling about
I've
it?
not been that game. So that's a game that I've gotten frustrated with. I love From Software games. I love Souls games. I've played Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. I haven't beaten them though because I've gotten so frustrated of like I was like, oh, grinding sucks. I hate grinding. Bloodborne, Bloodborne's the only one I've beaten. Because I played that with one of my buddies and we just co-opted the whole time. And he's already beaten it, so he kind of guided me on how to play the game. But Bloodborne was fun. I'm still waiting for them to freaking release it on PC. So From Software, get your crap together because
I don't think
releasing
it
all these
ever
other
get
games,
in
but you're not
PC.
releasing Bloodborne because I don't have a PlayStation anymore.
Yeah.
And so I'm limited to my PC. So From Software, release the Bloodborne already because I want to play that again.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever get released from PC because technically Sony owns it, not From Software anymore. And that's why they have this big thing. It'll never be remade. It'll never be remastered because it's Sony that's stopping it, not From Software. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I have to I have to go get a PlayStation now so I can either play this or But anyway, yeah, I've been playing back Elden Ring again. I'm starting to like when it comes to gaming. I'm like, again, it's going back to like the whole spending time with friends and family and conversing. I'm starting to lean away from like solo play games now, and I want to play more with like friends and like just like the homies. And so I started playing Elden Ring by myself. I'm like, man, I want to play co-op now. So then I started using the seamless co-op mod that they have on there on Nexus, and I've been playing with all my homies, and we have like a party of like 4 or 5 of us just running around the lands in between, just beating everybody up and stuff like that.
We should do that, babe.
Yeah, we should do that. That would be good.
Oh, but it's on PC.
I have it on PC.
I have it on PlayStation.
I've been doing the seamless mod with some homies, and shout out to the Sad Boys. You guys are awesome. We play some gaming. But yeah, we've been playing. We've been going through the storyline. It's hard because the seamless mod, what it does is like, and I'm pretty sure you guys know, is that whenever you add more players, it ups the scales of all the enemies.
Yeah.
So the enemies just get harder.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why is this so hard? When I was playing by myself, it's easier. I'm like, oh yeah, it's because I have like 18 other guys here, like wailing on this one dude. Of course, he's gonna take like more hits.
8 dudes just shooting them with a bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I've been playing Elden Ring a lot more because I've been wanting to dive myself more into the lore. And mostly because of you guys, actually. Shout out to you guys because you guys. I was listening to your RPG episode, and I'm like, I need to get back into RPG games. I've been playing too much Marvel Rivals. I need to play something else. I need to get into more RPG games. Finish my RPG. Like I still need to finish The Witcher. I haven't finished Witcher 3.
Yeah, The Witcher's a good one.
And I love The Witcher. I've been reading the books. And then I'm like, I really need this. So like The Witcher's on my list. Borderlands, I still need to beat Borderlands. I've not even beaten Borderlands at all. I've not gotten spoiled on Borderlands, which is a miracle.
Yeah, that's
so I
crazy.
don't know anything about Borderlands at all. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like as far as I know, like the first one, I started playing the first one, and I'm looking for this vault. I don't even know what's going on. So, so I'm trying to finish up these games. It just just the list. Hogwarts Legacy, I got to finish that game too. I haven't finished that game.
Like I beat it, and then I guess there's another quest that I forgot to beat, so I have to go back and beat it. But then I was like, man, I'm just gonna play the whole game over.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I'm like I think it was you, Azali, that said like you like doing all like the side quests and stuff like that. That's what I like to do too. Like I do every single side quest known to man.
Yeah.
That way, when I get to the main quest, I just slap them around and that's it. You know?
For
I'm
sure.
like the super beefed up guy that's done like every single side quest. And
Just
like,
show up to the boss ready.
every equipment, and so when the boss is like, "You've come here to," I'm sorry, shut up.
Yeah. So I guess we kind of rambled on, but I kind of want to just do some like closing round rapid fire questions with you, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right. So I'll start, and then the ladies will go right after. So which tabletop game would you love to see adapted into a blockbuster movie?
Oh, jeez.
That is not based off of a movie already.
Oh my gosh. Oof. Oh, okay, so there's two that I'll throw out. One, again, going back to Betrayal House on the Hill. That you have like 50 different like scripts right there. You can already make it to a movie. Figure out how to do it. The other one is a game called Sleeping Gods, which is a fun sandbox game. That it's just crazy because you're like in this land on these islands, and you find out that the gods are awakening. So it's your job either to A, make sure they don't awake, or two, you waken them up and you start worshiping them. And there's like this whole series of like quests you're doing, things you're doing, figuring out ways. You're in charge of your ship, so you have like this crew. So you already have the crew set. So you already have your actors there for your movie. You have the ship. It's called the Manticore, and you got to take care of your ship. But you have all these enemies that you have to fight, and you have to watch out, and you have to take care of each other. Everyone has a backstory and things of why you're in that ship and how long you've been with the crew, and then you meet all these natives and everything. It's just a wild game. I haven't beaten this game because it's a massive game. It's a fun game I would recommend playing if you're more to like the heavier board side of gaming. So Sleeping Gods and for sure Betrayal House on the Hill is a game that I would probably recommend playing.
All right, awesome.
Adapting into a film.
I would love to see more games like that turned into movies because it'd be so fun.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, you have tons of scripts, guys. You can make out of movies from board games for sure.
Name an anime you originally thought you would hate but ended up loving.
Hunter x Hunter.
Oh,
Hunter x Hunter.
that's a good one.
Because when I first started watching it, I'm like, man, this is a kid's anime. I don't want to watch about some kid. I don't watch Gone, with this fishing pole. And then I'm like, I don't think I finished the anime. I think I'm on the final arc, and I'm like, this is not a kid's anime. This is dark.
Oh,
Holy
yeah,
crap!
bro.
What is this?
Yeah.
So for sure, Hunter x Hunter is one. I think another one that I would probably do is Gurren Lagann. I didn't like it because I thought it was kind of weird and cheesy, but then it started getting really good, and I was like, oh, this is a really good anime. But then like I thought it ended halfway through, and then the second half of it kind of got lame, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So what is the most overrated video game you've ever played?
Video game?
Yeah. Most overrated.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
This is
I'm trying to see if I should go with like a hot take or just like a game.
this is
This
the
is your
last
truth.
your last question
love
for
hot
that. So it
takes.
needs to be a good
A banger?
One.
I get it in a banger?
This is our last question right there.
Okay. Oh jeez. A video game that I think is overrated.
Yes.
Honestly, for me, GTA 5.
Oh my god, really?
I think GTA 5 is just so overrated.
Maybe-
Like, it was fun. We had some fun back in 2015.
The
It was
RP,
cool.
the RP though,
Online was-
man.
Lovin'?
The RP.
Oh man, no, bro. Like, I'm over it, bro. I'm sick and tired of seeing shorts of GTA, and like it was cool, but like Rockstar released GTA 6 already. Come on, let's go.
I know,
let's get this going. We're getting all these things before GTA 6, comes out. I think GTA 5 is overrated, and I mean, yeah, like
Okay.
even though online is overrated for me, to be honest. I'm just like, bro, like this is just it's just a cash grab to get more
Yeah,
money. So
I respect that. I respect that. So
yeah.
honestly, like I would love to talk to you more about so many more things, but it
Yeah.
is getting long, and we covered a multi-topic, so many things. We talked about how you started 2023 or before that, but check out Gamesy Moss for sure. Super nerd culture if you guys are into that. I mean, it's amazing, and clearly this man knows what he's talking about. I feel like everybody should go check out Gamesy Moss. Like, great dude. Like nothing. Ever since we've been talking on Discord, it's like very relatable. I'm like a nice guy, like for real.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm honored that you guys invited me. I mean, I'm a nobody, guys. Like, I'm just a dude that just really likes talking about board games and video games and pop culture and films and stuff like that. I'm a big film buff too as well. So like, I love talking about films. Let's talk all day about films, and like board games, video games. Don't get me started. I mean, yeah, we can go hours. But I just want to say, yeah, thank you guys so much. And to your listeners, if this is your first time listening to Co-op Chronicles, give them a follow because they are awesome. You guys are awesome. You guys, I don't know what you guys are doing, like still listening to this episode. Like, listen to their previous episodes. Like, they're awesome stuff. The RPG stuff. They had a Valentine's Day one. They had like a murder mystery one, true crime stuff. I mean, give them a follow, guys. Give them a follow. Co-op Chronicles, for sure. You guys are on one of my top lists that I listen to at work all the time.
Oh,
Thanks.
you better stop it right now.
I do want to say though, I think that do you, besides what you already said, do you want like a minute or two to just kind of talk about anything you want to talk about? Shout out anybody, any last words you want to make sure you say, anything like that?
Yeah, make sure you plug yourself, man.
Yeah.
Throwing some plugins.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you guys can find us. I mean, we're Gamesy Moss. Like we said, I mean, if this episode wasn't enough of what we were, we're nerdy podcast podcast that we do episodes on everything you can think of nerd-wise, board games. I mean, if you don't know anything about the board game world, I mean, I'd love to introduce you to a lot of stuff like that in the board game world. Or if we talk about video games, which we haven't done so in a while. Actually, I think about that. I need to start doing some more video games. We did, on our earlier stage, we talked a lot about video games, but then I was like, board games. And so I need to talk about more video games. I feel ashamed. I call myself a gamer. I haven't even talked about a single game or game news. So thanks, guys, for realizing that I'm failing on my podcast. No, I'm just joking. But Games and Must, you can find us. We're on all platforms: X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to. You can find us there. We have like a non-existent streaming channel on Twitch where we play games with the Sad Boys. That's why I call it. Me and 3 other buddies of mine that we play, we call ourselves the Sad Boys. Because every single time we get together and game, everything does not go our way at all. And we're just super sad about it. But we're trying to keep positive about it and stuff. So that's why we call ourselves the Sad Boys. You can find us there on Twitch on Los Sad Boys. That's LOSSADBOIS. We're barely on there anyway, but I mean, we're trying to get back on. We'll get on more streaming sites. It's just the consistency is hard there, but
Yeah.
if you want to check out, we have some clips. We have a couple clips on it, some goofy stuff that we did on that channel. So if you want to check it out, if not, but yeah, just Gamesy Moss, and then shout out to, Blue Rondo Games. Rick, you're awesome for creating Crabs in a Bucket. Shout out to my boy Joe and Alex at Friendly Bee Gaming. You guys created some fun games. Check out Tactile and Widgets and Digits. And then my boy Mark Bates from creating Sovereign Chess. I'm a big chess player, and he created this crazy chess game that I really enjoy. It's fun. So shout out to you guys. I've met them in person. They're great guys. You can check out their stuff. I give out shout outs to them a lot, and shout out to the board game community. You guys are all so friendly. You guys are so welcoming and so supportive of each other. That's why I love that board game community too, and the video game community. Certain video games.
Certain video games,
We
yeah.
won't talk about Overwatch.
We won't talk about those.
Yeah, we won't talk about that community, but those are my shout outs, I guess, and very honored to have you guys to be on your guys' podcast for sure.
Awesome.
We loved having you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Honestly,
you're actually amazing.
I feel like I learned a lot.
I know. I feel like I'm just.
My brain.
I'm a bit overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. I didn't know there were so many board games.
I didn't mean to like overstimulate.
Oh, no.
No, it's good.
I get
It
so
was
passionate
good.
about it. So
Like, I wanna-
we could break it down on another episode. Like, something simpler, like
sure.
just only talk about betrayal. Then that's what we'll do. I guess.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be good. Yeah.
I definitely think that we should grab that betrayal game because I think that would be fun for like game night for just like us,
Yeah, 100%.
I definitely want to try that one.
Yeah. If you guys, a fun way to do it is again Tabletop Simulator. It's free on Steam, and they have that game on free, so you can give it a whirl on how to play it. Like on the digital world, and if you
I
like
see.
it, go
Yeah.
get yourself a copy
Yeah.
and stuff. That's what I do a lot.
We should do that.
And then
Yeah.
and if you need someone to guide you, I mean,
Oh yeah, I
I
got
volunteer.
you.
I volunteer.
Yeah.
I'll play. I'm always down to play any board games with anyone for sure.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to invite you. Be like, can you teach us this?
Like, what does this mean? We didn't read the rules. We
Yeah,
just
send
kind of
me-
went
Send me
straight for
anything.
it.
Like I said, I'm always happy to engage in conversation with anyone that wants to talk board games, offline or online. Doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I have you guys on Discord. You know,
Yep.
label. You can always send me a message anytime to chat about anything you want.
Oh,
Like I
for
said, I'm
sure.
always. I'm very quick. That's one of my pet peeves. Is whenever someone sends me a message, I like have to reply right away.
I know. I feel so bad. I'm like, I'm messaging you. I'm like, God, man, I hope I'm not bothering this guy. He could.
No, dude. Anytime. I mean, if you're like messaging me like at 2 a.m, I'm probably asleep. But I mean, but like anytime during the day, like I always like, yeah, I'm always. It's a pet peeve of mine of like if someone texts me, like I have to reply right away because I feel like that's rude. I'm like, oh snap, I didn't reply back. I'm so sorry. But that's just me. That'd be I expect. But yeah, you guys can message me anytime and we can chat it up with whatever you guys want to chat about. Anything. I'm always open. I'm always open for that for sure.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
As
Awesome.
always, this has been Co-op Chronicles with our amazing guest Vic from Gamey Moss and Pint Size Geisha, Black Label, and me, Azalee.
Wait, hold on. We forgot our catchphrase. Bib.
What was my catchphrase?
Level up.
Oh yeah, keep grinding them levels and finishing them side quests.
Side quest.
Yeah.
Bye.
We gather round the mic, tales of knights and dice. Gaming worlds collide, hobbies come alive. Azalee and Geisha chat, Black Label's where it's at. Movies and stories told, secrets to unfold. Co-op Chronicles, come and join the ride in a world where fun